I'm Teacher Teen from ILC. Okay, so today we'll be talking about useful expressions. These expressions, we usually hear them from different people, native speakers, sometimes in school, sometimes just around. And our friends usually say this. So anyway, let's go to our first expression. And the first one is, what's up? What's up? Alright, when do you think we use what's up? We use what's up when we want to know how a person has been. It's like questioning or asking them, how are you? But it's in a more casual way and usually used when you're talking to your friends or people at your age. So you say, what's up? Okay? Usually we hear this at school or just around the corner. Okay, we have here a dialogue. We have A and B. Okay, I am A. Now ask, what's up? And the letter B can answer, not much. I have just been really busy with the exams. There you ask him or her, how's it going? Or what's going on? How are you? And the person said, not much. That is the usual answer. And then you say, what you've been doing for the past days. Simple, right? Can we move on? Is it clear? Alright, no more questions. Next one is, I haven't seen you in years. Right, I haven't seen you in years. When do you think we use this expression? We use this when we meet someone that we haven't seen for a long time. That's why we have the word years. Where is it? There, years. Really? You haven't seen them in a long time. It doesn't matter if it's just months, like a couple of months. Let's say years. To express that long time that passed since the last time we've seen each other. Right? So if you have a friend who lives in, say, before he lives in Korea, but he moved to Canada, and then you meet each other again, you can say, I haven't seen you in years. Or better yet, you can use the two expressions together. Like, what's up? I haven't seen you in years. See? It can make you sound really good in English. At the same time, it makes you appear that you really know the language. Okay, so I have here a dialogue which we can use. Again, A and B. So A first. How are you? I haven't seen you in years. The letter B can answer, okay, it has been a long time, hasn't it? So in there, they use how are you? It's more formal, more usual, right? Some can do if you are friends and if you are really close. Okay, are we clear with that? Questions? None? Okay, let's continue with the third expression. Third expression is, what a surprise. What a surprise to meet you here. So, when do you think we use this? Yeah, when you're surprised, when you are not expecting to see that person in that place. Say for example, let's continue with our story, like our friend who moved to Canada, and then you could say, when you see him, say, what a surprise to meet you here. I wasn't expecting to see you. Like that. So, clear? Questions? Okay. You can also use these two together. Amazing, huh? You can say, what a surprise to meet you here. I haven't seen you in years. What's up? See? There. Can we continue on with our fourth expression? Okay. Our fourth expression is, haven't we met before? Haven't we met before? When do you think we use this? Or when do you think we say this expression? Haven't we met before? Yes, when the person looks familiar and then you think that you know them but you're not quite sure when did you meet or if you really knew him, just look familiar. Like you've seen his face somewhere, or maybe you talked to them once, and you somehow remember. So you can say, haven't we met before? We can continue with our story with our friend who moved to Canada and he stayed there for a very long time, let's say 10 years. So his face doesn't look that familiar, or it's not the same as it was before. And then you saw him, and then you say, haven't we met before? Clear? Alright, I have here a dialogue again with haven't we met before? Conversation between A and B. Right? A says, haven't we met before? Letter B can answer, we have. Meaning letter B is also not sure if you've met before. And this leads us to our fifth expression. Right? So our fifth expression is I believe we've met. Meaning, wow, beautiful handwriting. Anyway, I believe we've met, meaning you think or you're quite sure that you've seen each other before. So if you were asked, have we met before? You can say, if that person looks familiar and you think or you're quite sure that you've met before, you can say, I believe we've met. And then followed by the information of where or when did you see each other. Clear? Questions? None? Alright, so I have here another dialogue. Wow. So this dialogue is between A and B. A says, I believe we've met. Then B answered, actually, you met my friend just a few minutes ago, and he said the same thing to her. Alright, so in here, well, previously the person A met her friend or B's friend before, and he also used the same line. Alright, so we clear? Questions? Move on to our next expression. This expression, you usually say it when you meet someone for the first time and another person has been saying so much about them. This is it. I've heard so much about you. Okay, so in here, you can use this expression, I've heard so much about you, when your friend introduced someone and that person you have a lot of information about him or her coming from your friend. For example, we're friends, and then, oh, I have a friend, her name is Jasmine, and she's been teaching with me, etc., etc., and so on and so on, and I keep on talking about her. So when you finally get to meet Jasmine, you already knew or know a lot of things about her, so you can use this expression. I've heard so much about you. Okay? So you say, oh, hi, nice to meet you. You know what? I've heard so much about you. See? Alright, here's the dialogue. Letter A, I've heard so much about you. And the letter B answered, really? Was it good or bad? So in here, letter B asks, was it good or bad? Did your friend told you good things or bad things about me? Are the things that she or he said good or not? So yeah. Are we clear with I've heard so much about you? Questions? Huh? Okay, so before we move on, excuse me for a while, I'm just gonna erase the writings on the board. And I'm back. So far, what do you say when you meet a friend and you want to ask them how it's going? Say, what is this expression? Yes, you say, what's up? Alright. And if you haven't seen a person for quite some time, you say, I haven't seen you in years. Okay, so we're done with this. The next one. What a surprise to meet you here. So, when do we say that? We say this when we're surprised or not expecting to meet someone there. Clear? Okay. Next one. When do we use this expression? You use this when you're not sure if you've seen the face before. And last two, we're down to the bottom two. Okay? I believe we've met. So when you see someone and you know that you've met before, but the other person is not quite sure if he or she had seen you before, you can say, I believe we've met. And the last one is, I have heard so much about you. When do we use this? So we use this when you've heard, it's written here, so much about a person. When a friend told you things about him or her. Right. So there's a lot of expressions, huh? So, shall we continue? Okay, so how many expressions did we study so far? Okay, now, here's another one. Yeah, we're gonna learn about expressions here. You say this when you forgot or you tend to forget a person's name immediately, fast. So when someone introduces someone to you and then suddenly you do not remember their name, or it's hard for you to remember their names, you can say, I'm terrible with names. This is a fact. Sometimes there are persons or people who cannot quite remember names that much. When you introduce someone and then you suddenly forgot their name. Like you just met them, but you do not remember them. It's weird, right? Anyway, if that thing happened to you, you can say, I'm terrible with names. For example, I introduced you to my friend, so she said her name, and then suddenly you forgot. You can say, I'm terrible with names. Can you tell me again what your friend's name is? That, okay? So we have here the dialogue. A says, I didn't catch her name. Sorry, I'm terrible at names. And then B, you say, my name is Wilagrid van Hosten. Who can remember that name? Again, so when you want to have an excuse to ask the person to repeat their names, say this, and then the person will repeat. Like letter B, he or she, I think he repeats his name in here. My name is Wilagrid van Hosten. Alright, so are we clear with I'm terrible with names? Questions? Alright, so let's go to the next one. What do you think is the next one? The next example of an expression is, of course, I'm sorry. What's your name again? Right. So we say, I'm sorry, what's your name again? When do you think we say this? Sorry, what's your name again? Correct. So when you want a person to repeat, introducing or saying his or her name, say, I'm sorry, what's your name again? So for example, I introduced you to my friend and you didn't quite get his or her name. Maybe it's a different name or a name that isn't quite usual. You can say, I'm sorry, what's your name again? You can also use this in a situation where it's loud, it's noisy, and then you're shouting over it. Like you say, I'm sorry, what's your name again? Right? Clear? Questions? Right. So let's have the dialogue. I'm sorry, what's your name again? This is the person answering now. My name is Wilagrid van Hosten. Of course, it can be quite difficult to remember, right? And you can say, I'm terrible with names. And you can ask them to say this. Right? Questions? Can we go to the next one? Okay. Our next example is, of course, it's still connected with introduction. Susan, do you know Tom? Or it's in a parenthesis, meaning you can change this with a person's name, another person's name. Like for example, you can say, Jasmine, do you know Nikki? When do you think we use this? We use this expression when you want to ask if your friend knows the other person. So in here you can insert different names. Then to check if they know your friend or the other person who is with you. It's a sort of an introduction wherein you say, or you ask the question, do you know that? Okay. So I guess that's it for today. We will see you again tomorrow. So bye.